up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Not enough time. LA is burning. You guys are probably going to die in the next few minutes because everything's going to shit. I mean, I'm pretty sure Matt has to pack his bags. There's looters everywhere. It's just chaos, and it's an apocalyptic landscape out there. Matt, how's it been?
I'm good. Burbank's fine. I think the only thing is like a slight warning tonight with winds picking up, but for the most part, I've been gone, so I was chilling.
True, you skipped most of it.
In that case, Matt doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't been here. Bob, you must be seeing lots of robberies going on, and just an apocalyptic landscape up there, like I've been seeing on X.
At our place, there was a lot of damage because of the wind. The wind blew down a lot of trees and a lot of our fences, and it was strong enough that it like ripped plants out of the ground, or like trees out of the ground, which I've never seen before. Like old trees, like big old trees.
I'm confused. But what about the looting?
Yeah, there wasn't too much loot. We did lose power, but we just stayed home. So then, obviously, we didn't want to get robbed, but that's how we prevented it.
So interesting. I'm surprised that X has once again not painted quite the picture that it is on the ground over there. So to anyone who's listening, welcome back. This is Pod Dogs. Yeah, it is January 14th, and there are fires going around in the LA area. It burned through Malibu, burned through the Pacific Palisades, and they continue to burn. It's also burning through Altadena. There are acquaintances that I'm sure all three of us know who have been affected by these fires. I think Tiff and I were going through some names yesterday of people who went to school with us who've lost their homes or their family homes. Mm-hmm. And that is shitty. It is super shitty. Because this all could have been prevented if only we didn't do any DEI.
Stupid Newsom. Why didn't he stop this from happening?
Why did Newsom not stop this from happening? If you've been paying attention at all and following Elon Musk, you would know that DEI is the problem here. Let me share real quick a post from Elon.
Post from Elon. Papa Musk. The Kekinator.
This is January 8th. DEI means people DIE. God, what a clever man.
God damn it, bro.
This guy, he's so smart. So, as you can assume, yes, I can't keep up the fucking pretense that Elon's a genius. Yeah, Elon, along with many other people on X and on social media, are blaming DEI because the LA fire chief is a woman, and not just a woman, but she's also part of the LGBTQ community, and thinking that she, for some reason, is responsible for why things are so bad. That if we would, have just had a heterosexual fire chief, then none of this would have happened. But
True. That's a pretty good point.
Do you think like you're being rage baited by the guy? Because I was looking and I was like, I feel like it's just rage bait, but he also knows that he's making dumb people believe him, which is just infuriating my rage bait. And I don't even want to look. I really just don't like the guy, but I don't know. There's nothing entertaining else right now, so I look at the guy.
I think there's a component of it that I think he knows. I think he does understand that DEI obviously did not cause this issue. I do not believe that he thinks DEI is the issue. I think he's using it as a cudgel to get people behind him. Am I using that word correctly? I think I'm using that correctly.
I've never heard of it.
well, someone will correct me if I'm not using that correctly. There's words in my vocabulary that I use that like I've seen or read or listened to that it just like that fits here. I don't even know I don't know. I can't tell you the dictionary definition, but I know if it fits here in this context. Anyways,
That's funny.
I do believe he uses this, saying the DEI things without truly believing it, just as a way to, stir the pot and really attain people to his perspective, to be in his court, to fight for him too. Like, oh, he believes in that shit, or he doesn't believe in that. I also don't believe in that. Yeah, Elon's the fucking man. So, in that regard, I think yes, Matt, it is a little bit of rage bait, and I'm gonna bite because so many other people bite, and you kind of have to bite back. Because it would be a shame for us to have someone who's an LA fire chief who, doesn't have like 20 years experience and was, not a battalion chief or didn't do, any other positions up the ranks to get to fire chief and just kind of skip the line and whatnot. It'd be wild if that's what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Which?
In humor, I did see that the top like 3 officials of like the LA Fire Department, I don't know if exactly in the exact chain of command, but like top 3, they're all named like Katrina, and they're all 3 lesbians.
Yes. So the fire commission, you have, let's see, the board of fire commissioners. Let's pull this one up too. You have several women on the board.
Same
Ladies.
So this is what I'm seeing about the independent assessor reports directly to the board of fire commissioners and assist the fire commission in providing independent civilian oversight of the LAFD. You got Sharon Delugak, Jimmy Woods Gray, Corrine Tapia, Janethia Hudley Hayes, and then Jimmy. Good old Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Now, I think the picture you're talking about is, I don't think it's the board of fire commissioners. I think it's probably, let's see, maybe someone. It's got to be someone else in this, organizational chart down here. Deputy chief, administration chief
I
of
have no
staff.
idea. I just know the right wing agenda was just pushing is like, look at these top 3 officials, like they're incompetent because they're lesbian women with the same name, and I was like, this is ridiculous, dude. It's such an obvious rage bait.
Ridiculously awesome.
But people believe it. I think people truly are thinking like, yeah, that is the issue, that she is not competent. The fire chief is not competent because she's a woman and she's lesbian. Like that, and like that's the extent of their belief. Is like it just stops there. I mean, like, we might as well look up LA fire chief resume. I don't even know. And we'll look in real time what she's done. Here we go.
22 years.
As a 22-year veteran of the LAFD, Chief Crowley has proven her credibility and character by promoting through the ranks. She served as a firefighter, paramedic, engineer, fire inspector, Captain 1, Captain 2, Battalion Chief, Assistant Chief, Deputy Chief, Chief Deputy, and Fire Chief. I mean, you put that behind anyone else. You strip the name, strip the her sex, her sexual orientation, and you just put that down on paper. And anyone who says, yeah, that person is not qualified is a fucking idiot.
I mean, she could have a couple more things, but yeah, I agree.
Don't have to tell me twice.
Bob is hard to please. If there's anything you get out of this, it's that Bob is hard to please. So, DEI is killing LA right now in Southern California, having us burn. Along with DEI, well, we've got some other issues that are popping up here. I've heard about the water.
It's either run out or don't drink it.
Yeah.
What, the fish?
So yeah, I'm sharing my screen here and I'm going through these truth socials. Please mind all of them that we're going through. Here we go. Found it. So, yes, the fish, the smelt fish, the smelt delta has been of concern. So in Northern California, there's a delta. A delta is, I probably gonna get this wrong, but it's essentially like where there is water, a body of water, an ecosystem that has water and fish and other stuff like that. Anyways, the smelt delta was part of a conservation effort to conserve it and, not take water from it. Trump posted blaming Gavin Newsom for essentially what I'm assuming is some environmental conservation, because what he's talking about here, Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the Water Restoration Declaration, which, spoiler alert, there's no such thing as a Water Restoration Declaration. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I just.
But I declare.
Yeah, but I declare.
But I declare.
So we got to make assumptions here. What we think he's talking about, and I think he's just talking about Newsom having some conservation efforts. So, anyways, refused to sign the Water Restoration Declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. He is the blame for this. On top of it all, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes. A true disaster.
True.
All of this is just factually 100% true.
I've never seen the layout of this website. I've never seen retruths.
Oh, it gets wild. We'll go through some of these. It is an interesting place to be. So I want to just not attack this, but kind of just dissect this a little bit. A lot of water in Southern California comes from the Colorado River. It comes from oh my God, the reservoirs that are underneath the land. What the fuck are they called? Not aqueducts.
Water tables?
Yeah, you have water tables around the basin area also. We do have a lot of our own water. It's not like we get a ton of water from Northern California that's just to begin with. We do import water from the Colorado River. That does happen. But this isn't even talking about any of that. Because on top of all of that, it was never a matter of not having the water here. That was never the issue. And we'll find out later. Maybe we'll find out right now. Because also Elon kind of jumped in on this shit too and blaming local politics. But Elon went to the streets, went directly to the fire command to find out, get down to the bottom and figure out what's going on with this water. Because he heard some things and he wanted to find the truth. So, that said, let's see what Elon found out.
Go free to Canada.
So, all right. What about water availability? Was water availability? I understand that was like not an issue in Malibu. Is that correct?
Was it water?
Well, yeah.
So there was water. We have several reservoirs that encinos that we use a lot. Now, just an example, if we have one building burning,
Mhm.
we could flow 1,000 gallons a minute on that one building with the hose lays that we put in
Yeah.
to stop it. You can imagine 1,000 gallons per house we couldn't do, right? So the amount of water we're flowing, there really is no water system that's going to keep that pace. So we have to bring in water tenders, which are these big tank water tanks that, 2,500, 3,000 gallon
Yeah.
trucks, and they'll come in. And that's what we have to do to compensate. So they park out there, do it. DWP did a great job. They brought in big water trucks for us,
All right.
and we use them as basically mobile hydrants.
All right.
Right, and then we have our own agency as well that has water tenders.
Okay. My understanding is that like along the correct me if I'm wrong. In Malibu along the coast, there was no shortage of water. In the Palisades, there was a shortage of water at a certain point. Or is that not accurate?
Well, we were flowing just an amount of water that the system couldn't overbear. That we're just overbearing, just because of how much water these firefighters were utilizing.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Oh, sounds good. Oh,
You just wanted him to say we ran out of water. That's all he was
Trick-
looking for. Just
trick
looking
guy,
for
dude.
one soundbite.
I agree. I think he was looking for that soundbite and then got an explanation that is sound because it's what fucking happened. This isn't, this was never a problem of there wasn't enough water so much as it was a fluid dynamics problem. Which is interesting coming from the guy who builds fucking rockets. I would think he would understand that if you turn on all the fucking faucets, you lose pressure. But, you know, I don't think he builds the fucking
Could
rockets.
Could you circle back then the argument that the infrastructure is still outdated and it's still underfunded and we need to up the infrastructure?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that is without a doubt. I mean, we live in a desert. And people, I think, tend to forget that because you look outside and you see these green trees and people with grass and lawns and, you know, beautiful flower bed. But we live in a goddamn desert. If it wasn't for any of the irrigation we brought in, it would be dry. It would be rocks. And we've masked that with this, with all this water we take from the Colorado River that can't really supply this sustainably. And then on top of that, we've only received like an inch of water or inch of rain over the past year. So yeah, we live in a really dry area and our infrastructure has not been built to counteract the impact that climate change is going to have. And that's what this really is. This is the start, well, not even the start, but the continuation of climate change happening around us. Santa Ana winds have always been around, except for they seem to be getting a little bit stronger. I mean,
because the liberal politicians are controlling the weather, bro.
Speaking of very sane, very logical Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't have her tweet up, but she tweeted something along the lines of, you know, why don't we just geoengineer and have it rain over there?
She's so stupid.
Because, you know, we geoengineered Hurricane Helen. I think that was the one that was recent. Yeah, right. That was, you know, we did that.
She also probably thinks that like the same people started the fires, you know, like the deep state. And what she is actually insinuating, because this is who she is she hates Jewish people. So she says, the Jewish agenda is just burning down the city so they can replace it, blah, blah, blah. But then why don't the same Jewish people take out their freaking cloud seeding devices and stop the forest fires from happening that they started? She's so stupid.
Very logical, Marjorie Taylor Greene over there. Although I would say, as far as conspiracies go, and for this being more of an arson and started on purpose, that type of conspiracy to me, and I was talking this over with some friends, that would make more sense for the Maui fires, I would say.
Well, hold on. You have more friends than us? It's kind of not cool, but okay, go on.
They live in my
What do
head
they know about
and they
fires?
stay there. Don't worry about it. But
I mean, go over.
the discussion was the Maui fires would make a little more sense than that. The United States government has fucked with Hawaii for a very long time. I mean, we essentially overthrew their monarchy and just took their fucking land. So
It was Zuckerberg who did that.
Well, Zuckerberg is doing it now, and I guess you could say he's taking it from. No, he's not really taking it from the government, but he's continuing to take more land from the Hawaiians.
Was he just buying it all?
Yeah, he's buying a bunch of. I think it's Kauai.
So how is he taking it if he's buying it, huh? How is he taking it? He's buying it.
Because no one was selling it. No one was selling it if it wasn't burning.
Well, what do you? He saw an opportunity and bought himself a little piece of real estate, right?
Or created an opportunity.
But even then, like I don't know if Zuckerberg is buying parts of Maui that burned and taking that. Anyways, moving on though from that. Yeah, a lot of blame on local government and even state government for failing us somehow which in some respect, like Matt, you touched on, yeah, infrastructure is just not prepared enough for the crises we're going to see, for these large wildfires that are getting bigger and bigger. You know, God forbid you go and look at the past data of the acreage of wildfires that have burned in California over the past 30 years. You know, and don't be surprised when you see that graph, yes, it goes up and down, but you put a trend line, and guess which way that trend line is going? Absolutely. It's going to zero, guys. Climate change isn't real. It's going up. It's going up. The trend line is absolutely going up. These fires, over time, we're burning more and more acres of fire, which is kind of crazy. I also did read that, I think like pre-1800s, it was estimated that up to like 10% of the land area of California would burn annually. And now we're burning like 1%, something around that.
Prior to what?
Prior to the 1800s.
Okay, so I feel that I understand, but the main thing that I think is in consensus starting these fires, or the Eden Canyon one, was transformers blowing in the wind, right? And electricities, all these things sparking embers here and there. And also in the 1800s, there was 15 houses in the area.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You would burn large areas, and it doesn't affect a lot of people, of course.
We're clustered here, burning more stuff. You know, sure, we don't have as much access to water or whatever in different spots like fire hydrants and stuff, but it's completely different back then.
Yeah, that was just more of a, I guess, interesting fact that I saw. Doesn't really have much relation to what's going on today. But as you're saying, we're looking at over 10,000 structures have burned. I think I've even read 12,000 maybe at this point. This is going to be expensive to, one, I guess, rebuild. Don't know if rebuilding in the same spots is smart, but it's probably going to happen. And let alone just rebuilding these structures is going to be billions of dollars, 150 billion, who knows? And if we are to build an infrastructure that could pump all the water we needed at every single fire hydrant to battle such wildfires, that sounds like it's going to cost like billions of dollars. And there's one thing I know: people don't like paying more taxes.
Right.
That's just what we do, right? We just, I want to cut. I don't want to pay more taxes. Let's cut the tax. And this is what happens. You know, then we got to find cuts elsewhere.
No, dude, you just make the External Revenue Service, right? And then take money from tariffs and other countries trying to do business with us and use that money to build American infrastructure.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so much has happened since we last got together. Jesus Christ. We can barely get to the H-1B visas, the tariffs.
Sounds like a good ass idea, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Dude, now you're thinking like a goddamn American right there, brother.
For those that don't know how tariffs work, Matt, may you please explain who pays the tariff?
The consumer. The consumer always pays the end of the tariff.
So, when you raise a tariff, when you put a tariff on something, this is to be real quick. When you put a tariff on something, say you put a tariff on Chinese cars. The dealer in China selling the cars does not pay that tariff. It is the importer who pays the additional tax for the car. Which means someone here, is paying that additional tax, which will then eventually work its way down to the end consumer because the importer is not going to brunt the tax. You're going to pass that along and then sell that car at a higher value to make up for what they had to pay in the tariff. So we should tariff everything, obviously.
But Ryan, you don't get it. When we tariff everything from the outside, manufacturing is going to come back to the United States then because it's going to be cheaper than importing from fucking other countries.
You know,
duh, Ryan.
Oh my God. Tariffs aren't all bad. What do we need to make a tariff effective?
You got me here.
Big naturals.
Big naturals always help. That is always the right answer for every
Big
question.
natural resources.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really broad question, and I'm sorry, that was my mistake. For a tariff to be really effective, if you put a tariff on a specific industry or product, to make it effective, you need to have that industry already thriving, or at least sustainable in your current domestic, in your domestic nation. So if we put tariffs on electric cars, we better have an infrastructure that's selling a lot of electric cars. Then
We
that
do.
way, the consumer has an option to buy American electric cars. If you put a tariff on, say, cell phones coming in from overseas, well, we're all kind of fucked because America doesn't make cell phones. So you can't just tariff any industry. You have to tariff industries in which we actually have production here within the United States. That's at least my opinion of how you make an effective tariff. But what the fuck do I know?
True. Also true.
Very true.
I think it'd still be effective overseas as long as the your country of origin is producing the natural resources. Like if you export natural resources to someone that makes something better in another country, it's still, I mean, they're still paying for the natural resources.
What I'm hearing is, say Mexico makes, we're going to go with cars again. Mexico makes the cars, but we're providing the raw materials for Mexico to make the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put a tariff on Mexican cars.
Mm-hmm.
In that scenario, if nothing else happens, well, Mexico still buys the raw materials, but when the car is now sold to us as a complete set, the importer still has to pay a higher price, and the higher price still goes back to the consumer, being us. I don't see that being beneficial, even though Mexico would be buying our raw materials, because they're still buying our raw materials at whatever standard it was prior to the tariff.
At like market value, though, right?
I don't see the value of the raw materials going up just because they're selling a complete car at a higher price.
Well, why wouldn't they go up if we're trying to make money, right? And we have something that they need in order to produce, like, copper for batteries, whatever. Like we're exporting copper. Like, are we gonna make a lot from that? And then they give us the cars, and we just pay like basically a value added tax.
No, because I see less demand, like for that end product. If we're tariffing Mexican cars, and the price goes up, I see a drop in demand, which I don't know, maybe that leads to a drop in the demand for the raw material. So now we might be selling less raw material because the price of the end product is more expensive and we're buying less of it.
Yeah, but also remember that Mexican car producers aren't just selling cars to America; they're selling them to Mexico and other countries. So they have to upkeep their natural resource or their supplies of what they need. So if it's the only option,
Sure,
then
but even then, I don't see what's driving change for them to buy more raw material. If they are already selling cars to their Mexican citizens and to other foreign nations, us slapping on a tariff, I don't see how that changes their sales to themselves and to other nations, which would require more raw materials from us, which means more sales from us. To me, it's just like it's still static in that regard. Like the sales of raw materials from the U.S. to Mexico would still stay static. And it's maybe I misunderstand, and I'm not smart enough to understand what you're talking about. It's a very big possibility.
Yep.
who knows? We're gonna find out in a couple days.
Yeah.
In a week.
We find out soon. Trump, the monarch, Lord, King, Savior, takes office on the 20th. He's very upset that Jimmy Carter died and that the flag is at half mast. He's very sad about it because everything's about him, and he wants the flag to be full mast. Because who fucking know? Like what? Like no one cares. No one. They don't. I mean, people care about respecting a former president that has passed away, but I don't think anyone was talking about the flag and where it was in relation to Trump. And then he had to make this whole thing about him. It is very interesting, and I think people don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just stop talking about that.
I do know what you're talking about.
And we're gonna go back to the LA fire. So
On fire!
not only was water an issue, like we just saw Elon find out that when you open up more faucets, pressure goes down. It gets harder to supply those faucets. There were budget cuts, $20 million apparently taken from the LAFD. And here we have a CBS interview from, I forget her name, Nora O'Donnell, to Fire Chief Kristen Crowley. Let's take a listen and see how this goes.
Lives and protect property.
I must ask you, because a lot of people are talking about the warning that you sent last month that the budget cuts have, quote, severely limited the department's capacity to prepare for, train for, and respond to large-scale emergencies, including wildfires. You sent that warning about these budget cuts. Was this preventable?
I tell you, from the budget cut side of things, when there's a $17 million cut in our budget, operating costs, immediately from that point, I had to make some tough decisions. I looked at some other duties and responsibilities that we do as a fire department and had to focus right back on the training of our firefighters and also our ability to respond to the everyday fires and EMS response.
Would that $17 million that had been cut from your budget have made a difference in this fight?
I would say with the lean forward posture that we took, knowing that a $17 million cut we had to take from somewhere, and that was from the non-essential duties and responsibilities that as a fire department we have taken on over the past many, many years.
But with all due respect, in December you had warned that the budget cuts would severely limit your ability to respond to large-scale emergencies. Is that true or not?
Yes. Yes, so I would say yes, we were limited to a certain factor, yes.
And let me ask you about how that limited your response, because in the early hours of the wildfires, especially in the Pacific Palisades, we had a team on the ground, a crew there with a reporter, and witnessed a number of homes burned to the ground, and there was not a fire truck in sight. How did that happen?
We pre-deployed the most amount of emergency resources that we could with what we had. With the pre-deployment, when the fire takes off, we're going to push as many resources that we can at that particular incident. And that's what we did. We did exactly what we could with what we had.
So you're saying you didn't have enough resources?
I would say in a wind event like this that we are living today in day 3, something that is as significant as this particular fire, I would say we threw exactly what we could with what we had. So if I had 1,000 engines to throw at this fire, I honestly don't think 1,000 engines at that very moment could have tapped this fire down.
The President of the United States announcing they are surging more federal resources.
All right. Enough of that. Jesus Christ.
She sucks.
So what did you take from this interview?
She sucks.
People just that weren't here, and myself included, but I did learn a little bit about weather in my heyday. This was a significant wind event, like 100-mile-per-hour knots. I didn't witness it, but from what I've heard from everyone, people were like, these winds were real. And the worst they'd ever seen. On the Facebook pages, on the community pages, people are like, I've been here since 1960, and this is the worst I've ever seen. People agreeing with it, so who am I to disagree? And when that shit happens and you get a mix of dry land that we've already said that hasn't gotten rain since basically last April, and one spark from a transformer that blows up, I'm surprised like the whole city didn't burn down. to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been way, way, way worse. And I don't think that, like, even like this lady said, if she had 1,000 trucks, like, it could have still not been prevented. Even if we put 10,000 trucks, I would still believe there could be a significant fire that would take the entire city out. Even if you pre-deployed everywhere, if you get winds like that, the fire's moving.
The winds, the dryness, yeah, the vast size of the fire. You're right. There was a lot of things that were working against firefighters and fire prevention. And
also, one more thing with the winds is like the winds alone prevent planes from doing the airdrops, right? It's like the reason like we're able to put out most of these fires, the wind stopped, and then we can get planes up there dropping a bunch of water in places that vehicles can't go. So if there was a wind event that lasts a week and a fire's burning for a week with no air support and high winds, it really doesn't matter what you throw at it. You're screwed.
And what I've been seeing, Truth Social, X, a lot of focus on that 20 million. Why was the 20 million cut, and how that 20 million, like, this is just incompetence of the local government. And if we had that 20 million, things could have been way different. We had $20 million and a heterosexual fire chief. No fire would have ever happened, and Ukraine would be united with Russia already. So, blame it on the fire chief and on that 20 million that went to LAPD. I mean, what? What? Yeah, in case you didn't know, that 20 million went to LAPD. But I digress.
I heard it was moving at like 30 football fields a minute or something.
I did not hear that stat. I don't disbelieve it. I mean,
like that's they're like, you just can't contain it.
Yeah.
I also heard the winds from here in southern OC. Yeah, that shit sounded like thunder blowing by the building. Like a huge gust would come by, and I remember texting Tiff like, "Yo, I swear to God, it sounded like it was a crack of thunder. Like, it is loud, it is moving fast and hard, and trees are shaking. It was bad. It was definitely bad.
It's like hurricanes, like there's like not much you can do. You just got to prepare and be able to evacuate when you can and hope like you don't get devastated.
So we're going to do a little more on the LA fires here. Friend of the show, if you ever knew who we were, Hassan, interviewed Inmate Firefighters that California uses. In case you guys are unaware, California uses somewhere around, I think, 30% to 40% of their like hotshot force. So people who like go in the mountains, clear brush, things like that. I think about 30 to 40% of them are inmates. So Hassan went over to the Rose Bowl when they were on their break. These guys were working 24 hours on, 24 hours off, and interviewed a few of them. So I'm going to pull this clip about one of them. So I thought it was kind of interesting to see.
We're like the highest paid inmates in the whole system. What's the pay though? It's still pretty low, right? Yeah, it's still low. I think I get like $180 a month. That's crazy.
They give you extra when it's during a crisis, right?
Nah, we don't get no extra during no crisis. No? Not for us. Maybe the free firefighters, but we don't get no extra during the crisis. But there's supposed to be a pay increase in the future. We're supposed to get $5 an hour. But that's still low for like people on the street. But for us, we're like, that make us like we'll be doing real well.
Yeah, but you're doing crazy work. You're out here. You said 24 hours in, 24 hours out, right? And then sometimes they do 12 hours in, 12 off. But I mean, what are some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis out here?
We go in with our tools. We hike up. We hike a bunch of miles. We're on the mountain. Then we grab. We work with our hand tools. You feel me? Yeah. So it's like the hardest job in the firefighting for the wildland. Period. It's like we're like infantry. We're the foot soldiers. Yeah. So we're cutting line. We're scraping brush. We're using chainsaws. Scraping brush. We're making a path between the fire and the rest of the fuel, the community, the brush. So we make that barrier, we create that barrier with our hand tools, but it takes a long time. It takes hours and hours, and we go where the bulldozers can't get to. You feel me? So we're going tight spaces, real steep, where a bulldozer would like fall if it would try to go up there. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. We sleep out there. We get our rest when we can out there on the mountain. It's crazy. Yeah.
It gets dangerous too, right?
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. I have to dodge rocks sometimes coming down. Dodge them. You feel me? I swear to God, my mama. We got to. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's dangerous work.
Will you like it?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's almost like a respite from being? Is it better than being in prison or no?
It's way better because I was in a prison yard. I'm seeing guys get stabbed, get jumped, get beat up. The cops treat us like shit. But here, we get better treatment, right? They talk to us like humans. They talk to us like humans. We got a job. We're underpaid, but we got a job.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then the community comes out and shows us all kinds of love. We never received that growing up. We never received that kind of love, that kind of recognition for anything we've done. So now, doing this kind of stuff and all this love coming, that's life-changing for a lot of guys, because that's all they be needing is a little bit of recognition. With this, it's life-changing, and we get opportunities at careers.
What was it? How long was your sentence? If you don't mind me asking.
17 years.
17 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why we voted to keep prison slaves.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, we did.
We talked about this.
Look at how happy he is, Ryan. He's like, yeah, we're underpaid, but look at how good I got it.
But I got recognition.
Fucking, god damn it!
That's from the horse's mouth, baby. He loves it.
Anyone who feels warm in their fucking heart hearing about this should be ashamed of yourself, because these guys are being goddamn exploited.
You're such a bad person.
Okay. He said he did, bro. He said he got
17 years. I don't know what he's in for. I remember watching this previously. I don't think they asked or found out like what he was in there for. And some of these guys are violent criminals, by the way. And the program opened up to violent criminals recently. So, yeah, he could be.
So is that exploitation?
Is it exploitation? Yeah, it's still exploitation. Absolutely, it's still exploitation.
Immoral. Is it immoral exploitation?
Is it moral exploitation?
Immoral exploitation.
Immoral exploitation. I mean, what exploitation is? That's kind of like a weird thing, like to think exploitation is.
You're exploiting the fact that he's a prisoner. You're kind of giving him the choice to either, like he said, he could have been in the yard, possibly getting stabbed, or doing this basically like work transition. But he's a criminal felon. He's lost his right to that.
Yes,
so
he is doing time. You are correct. He is doing time. And
the way he does his time is for the benefit of the community.
And what infuriates me about this is near the end, he talked about how this program, as positive as it is for him and as grateful as he seems to be, he mentioned for a moment there, it provides a career. And that is fucking infuriating to me.
Yeah, it's not
because I do want him to have a career when he gets out. This guy has firsthand experience fighting fucking fires.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did to get in there, but I'll tell you one thing. He probably knows how to, at least fight and do some work up on the hills to manage a fire. Sounds pretty good. But when he gets out, if his record is not expunged, if it's not expunged and he still carries around that he has a felony or whatever it is, he's never getting hired.
Yeah. And if he's too old to be a firefighter, there's also an age limit. Like, they can't have like old men being firemen either.
Yeah. Good point. So maybe he gets out and he's too old and he doesn't have a career, but he had the skill set, or at least some of the skill sets, because I don't think he's doing EMT training, and there's probably a lot of other training he's not doing, which, by the way, they do talk about what type of training these guys get. And they were saying like, oh yeah, there's only like 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks. We did like some push-ups and like that was about it. Yeah, straight up. We did push-ups.
We learned a couple of chants. Go away, fire. Go now. Go.
Got a couple of branches.
They just threw him into the pit. Right? They just threw him into the pit. But
he knows. He said, he's like, we're like infantry. They're like the soldiers, and they're like, it's still better than being in the yard. At least they're getting paid.
Yeah, at least they're getting paid $5 a day. $5 to $10 a day. It was worse a few years ago. Apparently, it was closer to like $250 or some shit like that. So
it sucks, dude. He probably shouldn't have beat up so many girlfriends.
Sure, but what I'm also seeing here, is, hey, we're grateful to have this support. People are actually supporting us. They're treating us with respect. Like, what a change. Like, what a different thing to receive. And it's like, what the hell? We, as a society, have provided you with support a little too fucking late. It's nice that there is this program here to get you out of the prison yard and to show you what, hard work and what teamwork looks like and how the community reacts to such actions. But this program and this support that you're getting now, to me, has come way too fucking late. The support should have been there before you did whatever it was that led you here. And that's where we're failing them. And that's why I'm infuriated when I see this. Because it's not just him who says he has a career. It's the other guys too who said, like, we're learning things and this will, could get us a job when we get out. And the truth is, these guys, a majority of them, almost all of them will not have a fucking job. But they're hanging on to this hope that they will. And that they don't circle back into what brought them here. Yeah,
but don't you think that it's providing them a better chance of not circling back and not committing anything as opposed to not working and just sitting in a jail cell and just rotting away?
Some chance.
And just spending the time you've been convicted?
Sure. There is some
recidivism
chance.
Or recidivism? I forget what the word is. Something like that.
Which is why I'm not going to say cancel the program. No, expand this program. But also I think, $5 a day when someone who isn't there for 17 years, maybe they're only there for 10 years or 5 years, whatever it is, $5 a day isn't going to be much when they get out. When we've talked about
commissary, it's not even anything when they get out. It's all commissary, right? That's just so they can buy shit at the prison market.
Still, you need money when you're out to go buy, to pay for rent and other shit. Life's going to hit you hard. And if these guys are working hard, I mean, to me, $5, $10 a day it's just fucking ridiculously low. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying we need to pay these guys the same salary, $70,000, $100,000 a year, like our full-time firefighters are getting. No, but I think we can find a happy medium where these guys are paid a respectable amount.
What about minimum wage?
Hey, I think now we're talking. Because now I think with minimum wage, they could definitely save enough when they get out. They have a little bit of change that hopefully they can, really transition into civilian life, hopefully without, going back into whatever criminal activity they might have that led them here.
So do you think, though, then that if you give them minimum wage, you're incentivizing people to go to jail to get a minimum wage job as a firefighter?
Wow. If that's where we're at, we've really fucked up.
People need jobs, dude. And if people need places to go, we do have a homeless problem.
Keep in mind,
if you just create all those homeless people in jail and give them an opportunity to be a minimum wage firefighter on the front lines, dangerous job, are we exploiting them then?
This program, just because you're in prison, doesn't guarantee that you can be a part of this program, right? So it is selective. The program is selective.
So you got.
So if you go to jail, I'm going to become a firefighter, an inmate firefighter to get paid minimum wage. It's not. I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't do it. It doesn't sound like a good idea. I just want to try that.
How'd you go through the county? How'd you go through a county?
How'd you get here?
You go through county.
Killed somebody.
Oh man.
Arson.
But all I'm getting at is just
really fire.
I listened to one other guy, and like I said, he was talking about how grateful he was, and you hear the how genuine he is about being grateful for this program, and it seems like this dude really wants to do well, not just for himself, but for his surrounding community. And it's just heartbreaking, like I said, because when he gets out, he probably won't be able to be a firefighter. And that's what he's looking forward to. And it kind of hurt just to listen to that. But
maybe he'll have new aspirations when he gets out. Maybe he
I
just
hope
wants
so.
like a desk job or something.
You know, Ryan, you got more energy to waste about on fucking orphans than these fucking women beaters and fucking
Seriously.
whatever. Dude, all right, you're all right, bro. Let them earn their $1.25 and say thanks for the help. No one asked you to come out here, but you wanted it, so you can have this fake semblance of like, hey, dude, thanks for appreciate for doing fire stuff because because you're a criminal and all.
I would also be worried that, if we continue to do budget cuts, that the government or the state will continue to lean on these type of programs to fulfill the duties where those were actual jobs for, like, good paying jobs for civilians. I think.
What other jobs do you think that inmates would do?
What other jobs could inmates do?
Yeah, that would replace.
I'm talking specifically just for firefighting. If we continue to get cuts, like for say firefighting services, and that the state needs, like, we're kind of forced to continue to expand this program because they just can't pay for more full-time civilian firefighters, so they have to resort to using inmate firefighters. Like, I don't want to see that. That's what I fear, is that we trend that way. And it seems like we kind of are slowly, very slowly, but that we seem to be leaning on really needing inmate firefighters to help battle these wildfires.
So, like, I think a LA firefighter makes around $100K, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds like a good fucking job, good income. I wish there was more of them. That means that more people in our community would have good paying jobs. 17
million, which was like the budget difference for them, right? Over the year, they lost 17 million from their budget.
Yeah, something like 17, 20 million that went to LAPD instead.
My math's not good off the top of my head, but what's 17 million divided by 100,000?
Oh, I should just carry the zeros, but I'm not going to. 170.
So 170 more firefighters and that would have changed it, like the entire fire.
That wouldn't have changed
anything. And that's not even including equipment. This is just 170 full-time paid positions.
Yeah, that wouldn't have changed anything.
Of the lowest rank.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that having more full-time firefighters will change that a wildfire happens. All I'm getting at is, if there's a trend of using the inmate firefighters more substantially over the years, it is increasing, where it used to be about 30% of the force was the inmate firefighters for wildfires, to now getting closer to 40%. Okay, that's all I'm stating, is that there's a trend of using them more and being reliant on them. And that trend is probably correlated with just a lack of funding, which funding that could be used to hire people with actual wages that are in the community, have good paying jobs.
Oh, okay, I see. I got it. You know what? I'm kind of with you, Ryan. You're saying we want to take these jobs away from the inmates and give them to regular citizens, and like be like, y'all can't work, stay in jail. Fucking Joe Schmo over here needs this 100K. I'm down. They don't deserve jobs. I agree as well.
If it's not an extreme in one direction, it's an extreme in the other direction.
How do we fund LAFD more?
Well, obviously taxes and proper management of finances. I'm not going to say that all finances are properly managed. There's mismanagement. Absolutely. I don't know to what extent, but it's there.
Why don't we recruit the homeless and pay them the prison wages?
I think they'll feel the fire. They might just run into it.
Well, I mean, humans are 90% water or something, right?
Why don't we create all Californians a mandatory 2 years of fire service? to live in California.
That is interesting. Wow. So kind of like a mandatory military service, but instead it's for firefighting because we're not investing in infrastructure to combat climate change or trying to change our ways at all. So fuck it, let's just live with it and let's just all be firefighters.
All hands on deck, all times.
The next 4 years are gonna suck. All right, where are we at right now? We're about almost an hour in. Let's see what else we got here on deck. We can do.
Give me one more. You're gonna swerve on that corner one more.
Whoa.
So we can do either Path of Exile 2.
Oh yeah, let's do that one.
You want to do that? All right.
Yeah.
Context. So maybe I'll let Matt or Bob take over the context and give us the lead in to this. Or does the video do enough for the first few minutes?
I watched the video. I mean, sure. It's a 6-minute video. It's up to you.
All right, let's play a little bit of this video, and then we'll add context as necessary. How about that?
You might have to skip like a embedded ad or something.
You're actually like a world-class, incredible video game player.
Yeah.
Paragon board and the build, you're also an innovator there.
Yeah, I've played a lot of video games.
You think about like StarCraft, any game where a lot of people are playing.
So
to rise to the top, you have to be
Elon
exceptional, period, as a human
has
being. There has to be something exceptional about you.
prided himself, but
world,
puts on a facade that he's a master video game player.
Shooting rockets into space, making e-vehicles, starting a new department of the government. I actually let myself think maybe he actually is an alien because there's just no way, unless he's paying people to do it for him, which obviously he's not.
Obviously.
Yeah,
so let's start off with some context. Elon Musk's character is currently level 97, aka rank 12 on hardcore, that's permanent death mode, Trade League. Let me try to give you a quick understanding as to how hard it is to get to that level. 2 weeks into the league, when people are playing the game, literally, they're staying up 40 to 50 hours without sleeping, only playing Path of Exile, and they are the most try-hard guys in the world. The highest ranked player on the hardcore Trade League was level 93. Okay, and you're thinking about yourself, that's kind of close to 97. Every time you level it up, it becomes exponentially harder to gain experience. A lot harder and a lot harder. Okay, so these players, to get to 97, have to be playing the game every day for the majority of their day. Currently, what is their highest ranked player? They're level 97, same as Elon Musk. So, I mean, he effectively has been playing, pretty much just doing nothing except playing Path of Exile. So let's just go over some of the things that happened. So right away, we see Elon zone into his hideout, which is your area you...
So, just to recap, those who are dedicated playing this game to get to the level that Elon's character is at are playing essentially all the time. And they are not, 24/7, and they are not CEOs of 3 other companies.
That's for starters.
That's where we're starting.
Yeah.
That is where we're starting.
It was also, and for more context, he was also the #1 ranked player in Diablo, which is like a bigger game than this, a little bit more popular, but also same thing. The amount of time you'd have to dedicate to play that and be at the top is still crazy. This Path of Exile is probably a little bit more intense.
That is my
Diablo
understanding. That Path of Exile
has more players.
Is a much more difficult game to master.
Yes.
Let's carry on. Let's see what else he has to say here.
Do in-game content from. And he opens up his bank and he goes to a tab called Elon's Maps, which immediately is a little bit of a red flag because I don't know why you would refer to yourself in third person, but okay, he does that.
I mean, I've done that
Elon
before,
Musk didn't play Path of Exile 1. In Path of Exile 2, maps are actually called waystones. And he never actually refers to them as maps. He calls them...
Play another round here. This is a hard level. Waystone.
So it's just kind of weird that he's, again, called his tab Elon's Map. So almost like someone who's a Path of Exile 1 veteran, is kind of making that tab and be like, Elon, there's a tab there called Elon's Maps. Grab your map out there. I've rolled them all for you. They're nice and easy. He then proceeds to walk up to his map device and go to put a map in. The literal first thing you learn upon getting to the end game is how to operate this map device. You're going to start off at a node, and then from that node, you can go to adjacent connected maps. Now, Elon, he's trying to click.
Oh, he's trying to do the map that's not in the chain.
He's just clicking a map repeatedly, trying to access it. He was not eligible to enter that map.
I just want you guys to understand, this is one of the highest level hardcore characters in the game. He would have played thousands of maps at this point.
Anyone who's level 97 is... And
for context, that other guy, his name's Crip. He's like very well respected in the gaming community. I haven't seen that guy since Hearthstone, but I know when that guy puts out content, people listen.
I just gotta ask, dude, why? Why?
Why lie?
Why? Well, no, I
He's a
understand why
cringe
he
guy,
lies.
that's all it is.
But why lie about this? Why this?
I think that he liked the praise that he was getting from other people when people say like, "Oh, you know what? You got to be a special human to be really good at video games," and you are. And he's like, "Yeah, I am." I fucking hate him.
But he's not, right? Like he's not. He's
not. He sucks.
He's not. I don't think we need to play more of this. I just wanted to play enough for anyone who does listen, if anyone listens, just to understand that, you know, Elon tried to fake his way into showing that he was some type of master gamer on a game that many other people are very knowledgeable about, only for those people to realize Elon doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And I think this is starting a broader unraveling of, if he's lying about this and he doesn't know really much about it, what else is he lying about?
Everything.
Maybe not everything.
A lot.
I would definitely say a lot.
He makes fake Twitter profiles and compliments himself. Like the dude is the ultimate loser.
Yeah, that did come out. There was that baby profile that he used, an alternate account where he was like pretending to be a baby or something. And then just recently, if you were very online, which I don't suggest, you would have heard about the Adrian Dittman story, where it was believed Elon is Adrian Dittman. And Adrian Dittman is someone who has been on Twitter Spaces with Elon. And if you listen to those videos and you go find them, it is sometimes hard to distinguish who the fuck is who. He sounds like Elon. Although when Adrian Dittman talks, he is able to convey his ideas a lot better than Elon does. Elon does a lot more stuttering, and just his speech impediments or whatever it's a lot more apparent that Adrian Dittman doesn't quite have that. And from what I've seen most recently, it seems like it has been debunked that Adrian Dittman is just stroking the D for Elon, which is also weird and kind of sad in its own right.
Oh, is it him or not?
I don't think it is him. I don't think Adrian Dittman is Elon. I think it is a separate person that is enjoying the limelight and the attention he's getting for people thinking he might be Elon. And I think Elon also kind of, is playing along with it and enjoys it too. But I don't think Adrian is.
Elon has like said on Twitter that he is him. Like, oh,
Yes.
It's 1,000% me, or yes, I am him. But then you're like, oh, is he just double bluffing here?
Yeah, right. Is he rage baiting us again? Which I think he kind of is. Once again, regardless if he is Adrian Dittman or he's not, his reactions are just fucking pathetic. The dude is the biggest fucking dork.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a good way at all. Not in a good way. And this dude has much more influence over our military than we really understand. And much more influence about how this administration might run than I think we truly understand. And we'll find out. Hopefully it's not bad.
I really can't stand Elon. Like worse than not that I even like can't stand Trump. I don't really like Trump, but I really don't like Elon.
I mean, Trump is, he's out there in the open of like kind of who he is. I don't think he really hides much, to be honest. Like,
I think he lies too, but
he lies. But I don't know. There is something different about the way Trump lies and something different about the way Elon lies. And then
it feels like more malicious.
Man, interesting that you say Elon seems to be more malicious. 'Cause I guess when I think of Trump lying, I think of him he's really lying to save himself and his back, which Elon kind of does, right? Like, I'm a great gamer. He's lying for his own pedigree to seem really cool or some shit. But yeah, I don't know.
When Trump lies, part of me thinks he believes the lie. When Elon lies, I don't think he believes it.
Oh, so you're saying there's manipulation, direct manipulation and deception.
Yeah. Like, that's why I think Elon is like scum of the earth.
Yeah, it's wild that I used to like this guy. I used to think he was cool. A lot of us did. Yeah. And then he called the scuba diver rescuer a pedophile, and now it's kind of like
that was the beginning of it, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. That was the beginning of... Is Elon a piece of shit?
Yeah.
He might be a piece of shit, right? Like, these guys are trying to rescue kids and he just called the guy a pedo out of nowhere? It's kind of a shitty thing to do. Yeah. And now there's rumors about TikTok potentially selling to Elon Musk, which would, seeing how he ran Twitter exceptionally well, would be fantastic. That he would own 2 social media sites. That would be wonderful. Okay. Well, I think we have burned through our ears quite enough. We do have these 2 last things. We got Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan, and we also have Tim Kaine grilling Pete Hegseth. I kind of want to do one more. You guys got enough in you to do one more?
I couldn't follow along with the Tim Kaine one because I don't know. But if you want to do, what was the first one you said?
We got Mark Zucks on Joe Rogan talking about how
Zucks.
Yeah, talking about how the government hates him and he doesn't. Why? All right, fuck it. We'll just do it. I'll just play it. We'll do this.
Take it easy, Ryan. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm such a mean person.
Like when they were attacking you, like first of all, what was the premise? Like what were they saying was your offense? Was it that you were allowing information that was not true?
He's talking about the government coming
after
Meta.
There. I know there was also, they're saying that you guys were allowing hate groups to speak. There was a lot of this.
Yeah, I mean the tough thing with politics is that there's like.
Also, I gotta say, dude, Zucks didn't always have a broccoli cut, did he?
Nope. Or didn't wear gold chains.
Yeah, there's just something not authentic about the way he looks.
He's entering his getting divorced era, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. He cheated on his wife.
Interesting play. It is the turn of the year. We do have predictions that we made last year that we need to go over. There was just so much to just talk about that we didn't even touch that. So maybe next time we'll do that. We'll have to put up some predictions for this year too. Zuck's getting a divorce. We'll have to see it.
Well, when you say someone's coming after you, are you referring to kind of the government and investigations and all that? I mean, so the issue is that there's
Tell us the issues.
There's what specific thing an agency might be looking into you for. And then there's like the underlying political motivation, which is like, why do the people who are running this thing hate you? And I think that those can often be 2 very different things. So, and we had organizations that were looking into us that were like not really involved with social media. Like I think like the CFPB, like this financial, I don't even know what it stands for. It's that
I don't even know what it stands for. What is the CFPB? What is this institution that's after me? Huh? So strange.
What is it?
It's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Oh, you need a little more context.
A little bit more.
Okay. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a government entity that goes after businesses to protect the consumers. So say businesses are running scams or essentially running scams and taking millions of dollars, or typically, these are large scams, so millions of dollars from consumers. The CFPB would investigate and carry out lawsuits against these companies in an effort to bring resolution for the consumers, to protect the people. Meta is faced with a potential lawsuit from the CFPB over its malpractice of selling data to third parties. I think you could say without consent, but essentially just maliciously selling all of the users' data to third parties. That's what they're being investigated for. And this guy is acting like, oh, who is the CFPB? I'm just the CEO of a company making billions of dollars, and I don't know anything about this what government? Fucking strange. I just don't believe this fucker, dude. I don't. I think he is putting on a facade. I think it's a show. I honestly think he's putting on a show. I think he was told to look this way and told to hit these points and act like this to resonate with Joe's audience. Because
he's looked like this for a minute. He's changed his look like a couple months ago. But I do think it is for like a rebrand.
Regardless, there you go. I think it's a rebrand. And I think what he wants is to buddy up with Trump because he's seen it with Elon. He's seen it with anyone else. You give a little money to that administration, they're going to rub your back too. And I bet you he wants the CFPB off of his back. I think that's what he wants. And I think he wants the support of the American people. And going on Joe Rogan and playing this dumb act, I think is a way for him to try and get that. Let's see what else he has to say.
The financial organization that Elizabeth Warren had set up.
Oh, great.
And it's basically, it's like, we're not a bank.
The
right? We're not
debanking section.
Yeah, no, so like we're not a bank, right? It's like what does Meta have to do with this? But they kind of found some theory that they wanted to investigate, and it's like, okay, clearly they were trying really hard, right? Wow. To like find some theory, but it like, I don't know, it kind of like throughout the party and the government, there was just sort of, I don't know how this stuff works. I mean, I've never been in government. I don't know if it's like a directive or it's just like a quiet consensus that like, we don't like these guys. They're not doing what we want. We're going to punish them. But
what theory, Mark? You going to ask the question, Joe? What's the fucking theory? What is it? You want to try explaining it to us?
It's deep state.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just the fucking deep state. It's just that government. The government hates us just like everybody. Oh, the government hates me. That's why they're fucking banning TikTok, my only fucking competitor. Get the fuck out, Mark.
But it's
Jesus Christ.
It's tough to be at the other end of that.
What was it like?
Oh God, it's so tough being a billionaire.
The thing that I think is actually the toughest though is it's global, right? So, and really when you think about it, the U.S. government should be defending its companies, right? Not be the tip of the spear attacking its companies. So when we talk about a lot. Okay, what is the experience of?
Tell us more,
okay,
Mark.
if the U.S. government comes after you.
Oh, the government's coming after you.
The real issue is that when the U.S. government does that to its tech industry, it's basically just open season around the rest of the world. Right? I mean, the EU. I pulled these numbers. The EU has fined the tech companies more than $30 billion over the last, I think it was like 10 or 20 years.
Holy shit.
So when you think about
Yo, can one of you just pull up real quick what the net worth of Meta is?
You mean the market cap?
The market cap. I'm sorry, the market cap of Meta. Because I love how Joe's response. Holy shit! Oh my god, 30 billion, 10 years. Wow, my god.
1.5 trillion.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
What? That's one company. 1.5 trillion, one company. These guys are gasping over 30 billion over 10 years for shit that they violated. The government's after you, bro. Even though you've grown to 1.5 trillion. Holy shit. Oh no. Oh no, we should feel bad for you. Yeah. Keep this in mind when you
Do you
listen.
know how many firefighters that is?
Yeah, you know how many that's so many firefighters. So many firefighters.
There's a lot of firefighters.
Still couldn't have stopped that fire. The winds are too
Still
strong.
wouldn't have done shit.
Yeah. Didn't you know? The wind. It's a firefighter's biggest enemy. We just crumble. But keep that shit in mind, people.
Like, okay, it's
Stop. Get off social media. Ryan, you get off social media too.
No, I can't. I am absolutely addicted to listening to these fucking idiots. I cannot stop listening to these morons.
You're gonna have a heart attack, bro.
I will. I will definitely probably, have a heart attack, but yeah, I don't.
Because you listening isn't gonna do anything. It's just getting you angry.
It is. It's definitely getting me angry, but at least I'm semi-informed, and I will, vote for those who I think will at least listen, and that I think I have a chance with convincing to move in a direction I want to see. I'll tell you right now, it's not the Republican Party. It's not the Republican Party. Democrats aren't great, but I have a much better chance convincing a Democrat than convincing a Republican for policies I want.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to convince both sides to actually pass anything.
True. Very true. Or, landslide victories. But we're far away from that. So with that, I have no more bullshit political stuff to show you guys. I really want to do the Tim Kaine thing, but I might just opine on that by myself and just make fun of him on my own. But I do, for anyone who's listening, I do think you should put into YouTube Tim Kaine shows no mercy grilling Pete Hegseth. You will enjoy that. He talks about Pete's infidelity, which, sure, isn't directly related to running anything, but I think it is kind of showing of the type of character Pete Hegseth is.
They talk about his mom?
No, they did not talk about his mom. And for those that don't know what the fuck Matt is talking about, Pete Hegseth's mom wrote an email to Pete about what a piece of shit he is of a person. Essentially saying, I love you, but you are horrible. Absolutely horrible. You're horrible to your wife.
Stop abusing women.
Mm-hmm.
Stop abusing alcohol.
You are a horrible, horrible human being. And then she later comes out on public TV once he gets his nomination from Trump saying, I didn't really mean it. My husband says I get a little emotional. I shouldn't say emails like that. I'm a woman. What do you know? I just don't know anything. So that is our nominee for the Secretary of Defense, who will most likely become the Secretary of Defense.
Didn't he get sworn in today?
Today was his confirmation hearing. I don't know if they get sworn in on the same day, but I do expect that he will get sworn in. And, it's just crazy that this guy who is severely underqualified, who is a Fox News host, will be leading or a leader in the world's largest military apparatus. So, America, the land of meritocracy, right?
That's what we wanted.
That's what we wanted. It is apparently what we wanted. We can't end on this. This is fucking sad.
That's what you wanted, dude. You're a sad guy.
I am a sad guy.
Give me a stinky pinky.
Give me a stinky pinky, baby.
I have a stinky pinky for you. I hate life. I think it's over.
2025 coming at you hard.
Don't have one?
Nope.
Damn it.
It's over, guys.
Welcome to the new year, baby. This is going to be 4 more years of this shit.
No, it's over. I can ask you, what's the difference between a pickpocket and a peeping Tom?
At least someone's paying attention to me.
Well, a pickpocket snatches watches.
Nice. That's a good one.
And with that, follow, like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment, do whatever you want. Till next time.
Fuck Elon. Fuck Elon.
Fuck Elon. That's funny.